I got something to say, and then I ain't going to say no more. Over 35 years ago, I stood in front of my first class of students in a little high school in Oregon called Yamhill-Carlton, wearing a green button-up shirt and a tie. I tried to appear calm and in charge, but the sweat stains on my shirt belied my bravado. Thus, my journey in education began, and in a few short weeks, it will be complete. My life's work has been a teacher, a dispenser of knowledge, and here I stand at a commencement ceremony where I'm expected to dispense knowledge. And yet, I can't. I have nothing to offer you that will help carry you unscathed through the years to come and hopefully bring you happiness and knowledge. I am utterly devoid of anything of value to tell you. Oh well, that's never stopped Mr. Dorman, so here I go. Try to live each day as if it were your last day on earth, which means I would spend my last day on earth giving out worthless advice. And even if I was to give you some sage advice, most of you would not remember it, especially the boys. We men forget everything. That's how we have instant replay in sports. We've already forgotten what just happened. My guess, Colby Dills and Dylan Scheib have already forgotten what I just said. Anyway, most of us don't heed our own advice. I was stopped at the traffic light down here on Highway 20, and I saw a bumper sticker that says, "Honk if you love Jesus." Well, I do, so I did. The guy rolls down his window and says, "Hey, jerk, can't you see the light's still red?" So advice? I have none. But here's a few observations. If you think no one cares if you're alive, try missing a couple of car payments. If you lend a person $20 and you never see that person again, it was worth the $20. If you drink, don't drive. But don't park either. Accidents cause people. When it comes to social media, put down the phone and nobody gets hurt. A procrastinator's job is never done. And the fact that there's a highway to hell and a stairway to heaven says a lot about the anticipated traffic numbers. I could ask you to be good, but I don't think you'd heed that advice either, because you know you're bad kids. You're all bad kids. Isn't that right, Jarrett? So I decided to title my speech in honor of you, Terrible, Awful, Couldn't Be Worse. I have a rule in my class that when you're working on video projects, you can't play any music out loud that was produced after 1978. Because before 1978, there were only a handful of songs that had profanity in them. But you guys listen to music that is little more than Dr. Seuss lyrics with dirty words. One fish, two fish, blankety blank, blue fish. This one has a blankety blank ka. This one has a blankety blank star. What a blankety blank mess of fish they are. Terrible, awful, couldn't be worse. And I have concerns about your fashion sense. You spend close to $100 on jeans that are so ripped and torn, my mother would have thrown them out the next time I dropped them in the hamper. It makes me think. Do your parents ever go on about things they had to do without when they were kids? Like my dad grew up during the Depression, and if you asked him to pass the salt, it would set him off. We never had salt when I was a kid. We had to eat dirt. There was no air. You know what you'll have to tell your kids you had to do without when you were young? Good taste. Terrible, awful, couldn't be worse. And if you want to be a credible adult, please do not tattoo and pierce every available piece of flesh on your whole person. You know, I have a friend who's always looking for a woman with a tattoo. He says, you find a girl with a tattoo, you found a gal who is capable of making a decision she will regret later. Terrible, awful, couldn't be worse. And let me tell you something. Before you were born, your parents weren't as boring as they are now. They got that way, trying to keep you from making the same mistakes they made when they were your age. I used to be cool, but my kids sucked the cool right out of me. But I'm having my revenge because now they have kids and they're getting the cool sucked out of them. And I'm a grandfather, and guess what? Grandparents are cool. Why can't you just be good? What is so bad about being good? What is so good about being bad? Just be good. Oh, I get it. You want to be a rebel, don't you? Why don't you ask the South how that worked out for them? Dylan Tacker said to me, but Mr. McCart, the girls like the bad boys. And I said, you know why girls like bad boys, Dylan? Because they think they can fix them. My dog got fixed. You want to be fixed? Terrible, awful, couldn't be worse. When you were younger, did you ever play connect the dots? As you moved through the game, drawing a line from one dot to the next, you weren't sure what you were making until you almost got finished and the picture started to take shape. Life is like that. In his speech to the graduating class of Stanford University, Steve Jobs said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Let me show you what it means. Every time you make a decision in your life, dots will appear in your future and you will draw a line to the next dot. And then you make another decision and another, and dots and lines of your life start to draw a picture of your dreams and accomplishments until you're old and worn out like me. Then you'll look back and you'll see how the things you did and did not do affected the picture of your life. Here's a good example. If you ask me how I'm doing, I will say, terrible, awful, couldn't be worse, but thanks for asking. I've been saying that since the 1980s. I said that once in 1990, and that phrase is the reason I'm here at Sedro-Woolley High School. I was working on the yearbook at South Albany High School in Oregon, and the Jostens yearbook rep came in to see how we were doing. And he asked me, how are you doing? And I replied, terrible, awful, couldn't be worse. And he said, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And I said, I don't know, what do you do? 6 months later, I'm buying a home in Sedro-Woolley, and I'm selling yearbooks for Jostens. 2 years later, I was offered the job of photography teacher, yearbook advisor, and newspaper advisor at Sedro-Woolley High School, and the rest, they say, is history. I'm here because I took a chance. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life wondering what would have happened if I had taken that job with the yearbook company. I found out. I also found out that I love teaching more than I like selling yearbooks, and I especially love teaching here at Sedro-Woolley High School. But I wasn't always so cavalier, so je ne sais quoi. I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. For you see, when you get to the point where you've connected most of the dots and the picture is becoming clearer, you will look back and discover that you don't regret the things you did. Those things shaped the person you became. I don't regret the failures, the mistakes, the tough decisions. Those things made me wiser, stronger, more compassionate, more me. Rather, you'll regret the things you didn't do. When I was in high school, I had 3 activities that I really loved: football, drama, and journalism. And I was pretty good at all of them. I was all-league as a tackle. I had one of the leads in the musical, The Music Man, and I was editor of my high school paper. Yet, when I got to college, I felt like I wasn't good enough, so I didn't try out for any of those things at first. When I finally did join the newspaper, I was made sports editor after 1 quarter. I got a lead in a 1-act play, and I participated in spring football. I wasted 2 years thinking instead of doing. I was like the voice in the poem by Shel Silverstein. Last night, while I lay thinking here, some what-ifs crawled inside my ear and pranced and partied all night long. What if I'm dumb in school? What if nobody thinks I'm cool? What if nobody likes me? What if a bolt of lightning strikes me? What if I don't grow taller? What if my head starts getting smaller? Everything seems well, and then the nighttime what-ifs strike again. So don't listen to the what-ifs. Take a chance and don't worry about making mistakes. Think about it. As great as Moses was, he made a terrible mistake. He took the Israelis 40 years through the desert only to bring them to the one place in the Middle East that does not have oil. Your setbacks, your failures, I have to try that again, make you who you are. Remember, Humpty Dumpty had a terrible summer, but I hear he had a great fall. Don't be afraid of doing something that will change you. Caterpillars aren't what they used to be. Sometimes the worst thing in your life will turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. In the book Stumbling on Happiness, author Dan Gilbert tells the story of a young man that was left standing at the altar. His bride told him she would not be coming. It was the best day of his life. Not at the time, of course, but it made him realize that he was dating the kind of person that would do that to him. He changed his view and met a woman with whom he is now sharing his life. Speaking of love, boys, I have some bad news for you. You will not be able to find the perfect wife. I already married her. And girls, I have some equally bad news for you. You will not be able to find the perfect husband. We don't exist. But let me give you one indelible aphorism about life. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts, and do not put up with people who are reckless with yours. And here's a bit of romantic advice. Marry someone who gives you the same feeling you get when you see your food coming to your table in a restaurant. Don't ever settle for second best in life, in love or in happiness. You are worth it. It's like the nanny in the movie The Help told the little girl, you is smart, you is kind, you is important. I am so grateful that God made me a teacher, because as Mr. Ramsey is fond of saying, we are lucky to be in the kid business because we get to work with people and not things, because people are loved and things are used and not the other way around. I have watched thousands of boys and girls grow up into outstanding young men and women in that brick building on the corner of 3rd and Bennett. I have worked with hundreds of kids for 4 years only to never see them again. Such is the purgatory of a teacher's existence. I never saw the end of my career being anything remotely like this. Sitting in a barren classroom, emailing and Zooming. One day soon, I will turn off the lights in room 107, turn in my keys, and walk away from Sedro-Woolley High School for the last time. Cub editor Madison Tobish asked me in an interview for a story on my retirement what I will miss when I retire. I told her, I will miss the classes, the lip dubs, the debate tournaments, making the yearbook, and my colleagues, yes, even Mr. Jensen, my lip dub bud. But mostly, I will miss hearing my name called out by the hundreds of students over my 35-year career. The silence from those voices will be deafening. I've spent the last 3 months on the relatively empty campus of Sedro-Woolley High School. When you're the yearbook advisor, you're aware of most things than other people. Here are some of the memories and visions from the class of 2020. Shaylee Bumgardner and Manny Martinez on stage in the auditorium. In the lobby, Juan Ortiz, Romel Sargina, and Garrett Hudak in their usher uniforms, complete with bow ties. In the halls outside the band room, the new band uniforms worn by Natalia Taylor, Piper Smith, and Hallie Simpson. Just down the hall from that, the advanced treble choir dresses of Elise Gamson, Heavenly Strutzel, Jasmine Brigham, and Dylan Pickin. I know it's Strutzel, but how can you have a name like Heavenly and not say Strutzel? In Mr. Brask's room, Isaiah Guerrero's guitar. In the band room, Logan Gustafson's drumsticks. Zoe Slobodnik and Ariel Resnick, bows in hand during the orchestra concerts. The cafeteria during Thanksgiving, when everybody's plate was piled high with turkey, mashed potatoes, and stuffing. Hannah Forrest's softball gear and Anthony Zitkovich's baseball gear in the hall outside Rhonda's office. Grace Pohl, Sam Wise, and Amber Helinski helping lead the volleyball team to their first trips to state since Miss Oakes was in high school. Wow, that was a long time. Rafe Holes taking third in state in cross country, and with fellow teammate Lachlan Boyd leading the boys cross country team to state for the first time in the school's history. And then Lachlan taking second in diving the very next swim season. Cameron Kappan astride that custom Harley-Davidson motorcycle during the last ever lip dub. Harley McSpadden and Ari Betts astride their horses. Tucker Hershaw making the moves on Alyssa Lecca during the lip dub their freshman year. The space where Brent Vanderveen parked his Thunderbird. The propellers Bryce Whalen bought when he crashed my drones not once, but twice during broadcasting. Ariana Hearn's attitude. Right now she's saying, "I don't have an attitude, Mr. McCart." If you don't believe me, watch the 2018 lip dub at the 6:15 mark. Jenna Burrows' belt buckles that were twice the size of Jenna Burrows. In fact, everything is twice the size of Jenna Burrows. Walter Costanza telling me that when I retire, the school district will replace all my beautiful Macintoshes with bland PCs. Ouch, Walter, that hurt. Having Jens Gifford in my yearbook class all 4 years, which just reinforces my statement that this is why tigers eat their young. I don't think that boy has ever had a bad hair day. And if he did, who would know? Our visionary Mitchell Pepper, who wore a protective mask long before it was hip. Keegan Blaine and Elijah Choate conquering the trap shooting world in the early fall. Emma Adams representing Sedro-Woolley High School in the prestigious Westminster Dog Show. Alan Cuevas yelling, "Here!" during roll call in digital photography class. Anna Rutherford, Chloe Hines, and McKenna Peterson avenging their loss as juniors in the seniors takes all powder puff game. And just a few short minutes later, Jacob Lennox and Peyton Burrell making their own fashion statement in the buff puff game. Enduring Asia McDermott's daily insults and then crying together on what turned out to be our last day of school ever. Standing in the halls, yelling out my puns, and trying to get Saul Sanchez Ortiz to smile. He was pretty tough, but I got him a couple of times. Speaking of my smiles, my favorite was and always will be Yelena Priashchuk. Sorry, Yelena. And look, there's the empty nook where you talked and laughed and touched and sighed. It is time to say goodbye. And I think I can speak for all the teachers, aides, counselors, secretaries, cooks, bus drivers, custodians, coaches, and administration when I say, at times you make us laugh, at times you make us angry, at times you make us worry and wander, and at times you make us cheer and smile. But mostly, and especially tonight, you have made us so very, very proud. Oh, and one more thing. Life comes at you fast, so make sure you duck!